of the Trump administration's approach to immigration, who were promised that the Trump administration was going to focus on deporting violent felons as opposed to targeting children.
This is the Fox 5 News Block.
This officer is in the hospital today fighting for his life because of the policies of the mayor of this city.
Harsh words from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem as she slams Mayor Eric Adams after two undocumented immigrants were taken into custody, accused of shooting an off-duty Customs and Border Patrol officer in a Manhattan park. But first, breaking now at 3, the murder conviction in the infamous 1979 killing of Eton Pates has been overturned. A federal judge ordering a retrial of the man who was previously found guilty of killing the young boy. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Antoine Lewis. Welcome to the News Block. An appeals court making this ruling over the judge's mishandling of a jury note during the trial. Pedro Hernandez was convicted in 2017 of killing Eton Pates back in 1979. Hernandez had been serving 25 years to life in prison. He was arrested in 2012 after confessing to choking Eton, though his lawyers argued that the confession was false due to mental illness. Hernandez was a convenience shop worker in Soho during the time of the killing. Eton disappeared while walking to a school bus stop. He was among the first missing children to be pictured on milk cartons. Under the ruling, Hernandez must be released if he is not retried. The Manhattan DA's office will only say it's reviewing the judge's decision. Our other top story, a federal Customs and Border Protection officer still recovering in the hospital today after being shot in the face on Saturday night. Authorities believe it happened during a botched robbery. Lisa Evers joins us live with the very latest from Harlem Hospital, where the officer is recovering. Lisa.
Well, Antoine, right now, this 42-year-old Customs and Border Protection officer is heavily sedated and in the ICU here at Harlem Hospital after being shot in the face and arm, allegedly by a criminal migrant. Now the city is taking heat. The feds are blasting Mayor Adams and city sanctuary city policies. Now, in this surveillance video that you see that we got from Homeland Security, it shows what happened Saturday night in a park under the George Washington Bridge. The off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer was sitting on a bench with a woman when they were approached by two men on a moped. Officials say they tried to rob them at gunpoint. And when that happened, the off-duty officer pulled his gun. Shots were fired and the agent was wounded in his face and arm. He was rushed to Harlem Hospital where he's currently being treated. Now, federal officials announced the arrest of the alleged main shooter, a 21-year-old Miguel Mora, an illegal migrant from the Dominican Republic, who officials say had been under a federal deportation order but returned to the U.S. DHS says he has a lengthy rap sheet ranging from domestic violence to robbery, assault, and stabbings. They also announced the arrest of a second suspect identified as Christian Ibar Baroa, also from the Dominican Republic, and also with a lengthy rap sheet for various crimes, some of them committed here in New York City. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says they should never have been in this country and allowed to stay in the city, and she's blaming Mayor Adams and the city's policies. Here's what she had to say.
There's absolutely zero reason that someone who is scum of the earth like this should be running loose on the streets of New York City. He was arrested 4 different times in New York City, and because of the mayor's policies and sanctuary city policies, was released back to do harm to people and to individuals living in this city. Make no mistake, this officer is in the hospital today fighting for his life because of the policies of the mayor of this city and the city council and the people that were in charge of keeping the public safe.
So I am extremely angry that we have a Customs Border Patrol officer that is in the hospital because a person that should have not been on our street was on our street.
Now, Antoine, friends, we have to tell you, we've been out here at Harlem Hospital all day long, and friends of this CBP officer have been stopping by to try to see him, offer prayers for him, offer support for his family, but they haven't been allowed to get in because of his condition and also because he's in the ICU here. Now, we want to point out as well that the federal officials are saying that they do not believe at this time that this shooting had anything to do with his role as a CBP federal officer. officer. Now, also Mayor Adams saying, in addition to what you just heard from him, saying that the city has been complying with federal regulations as well as the city and state regulations as much as they can. But as we have seen in various cases, those are clearly not always on the same page. That's the latest here from Harlem Hospital. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Antoine, back to you in the studio.
All right, Lisa, thank you for that report. Sad news out of Hollywood, everybody. Breaking, actually. Actor Malcolm Jamal Warner has died from an accidental drowning in Costa Rica. Here's what we know. Authorities say that he was swimming in the Limon province when a current pulled him deeper into the ocean. Warner is, of course, best known for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, his performance earning him a Primetime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy, and launched a career that spanned over 3 decades across television, film, theater, music, and spoken word. Malcolm Jamal Warner was 54 years old. New details in the deadly crash in Chinatown that killed 2 people. Police arrested 23-year-old Autumn Donna Asensio Romero for the deadly high-speed crash. She's charged with 2 counts of murder and manslaughter, among other charges. The passenger was also charged with criminal possession of a weapon, possession of stolen property, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. Police say the 2 were inside a sedan that careened across the Manhattan Bridge and jumped the curb at Canal Street in Bowery on Saturday morning. A 55-year-old man on a bicycle and a 63-year-old woman who was sitting on a bench were killed. Breaking also this afternoon, a Central Park horse carriage driver has been acquitted of animal cruelty charges. Prosecutors claim that Ian McKeever relentlessly kept driving his horse during a hot August day back in 2022, despite signs that the animal was struggling. The horse named Ryder collapsed in the street. Ryder was eventually taken to an animal sanctuary and euthanized. McKeever's lawyers argued that the horse was properly cared for, wasn't overheated, and simply tripped and fell. Here's a live look outside right now as what was a gorgeous day. I don't want to say was because we still have some day left, but to talk all things about the weather, let's bring in Audrey Pointe with a look at our forecast. Oh, you're at the big map today.
Yes, and I agree. That is gorgeous out there, Antoine. Very comfortable, a beautiful start to the week here. Right now, temperatures are pretty warm. We're at 85 degrees in Central Park. We've now hit 90 degrees over at Newark Liberty Airport. It's 82 down the shore in Belmar, where it's a spectacular beach day there. And up to the north, we have 80 in Poughkeepsie and 75 in Monticello. Here's the big difference from yesterday, because the temperatures aren't that much different, but the dew points are. Yesterday we were soaring through the 70s, making it feel very humid. Today we were in the 50s and 60s, which is refreshingly dry air that's in place. Taking a look at the wind speeds, they've been breezy at times. In fact, they've been gusting as high as 30 miles per hour through the afternoon, so that will continue as we go further on through our Monday here. But we're dry on the radar. We have dry weather all across the northeast, and that's going to set us up for a very nice evening. There is a cold front heading in our direction from the west. Out ahead of it, it's going to turn very hot and quite humid as we go further on into the week. While we'll stay dry for a few days, we are going to build up that heat and humidity by the end of the week and bring back chance of showers and storms. Tonight, though, if you're heading to Citi Field to see the Mets game, it's going to be beautiful out there, nice and dry, plenty of sunshine to start. Temperatures very comfortable with low humidity and relatively light winds. It should be a nice night for baseball. Antoine, over to you.
Yes, and all those who are going tonight, we hope they have fun. Thank you, Ms. Pointe. Developing right now, the search is on for the person who vandalized Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign office in the Bronx. The Congresswoman was slated to speak at an event today, but then canceled her appearance, her office calling the press conference a security risk. The crime happened just before 1 a.m. NYPD officers found red paint splattered on the door. There was also an anti-Israel message that was tied to a sign on the security gate that read, quote, AOC funds genocide in Gaza. Congresswoman Grace Meng was also at the event and condemned the threats against her colleague.
That's something that we have seen more and more of. And yes, people have their First Amendment right to voice their disapproval, but to vandalize and to make people feel unsafe is not okay.
So far, there are no arrests. Anyone with information about the incident is asked to call NYPD Crime Stoppers at their hotline. Well, this fall, New York schools are going phone-free. Governor Kathy Hochul speaking today about implementing this change. She says it will create a new social setting for children, allowing them to learn distraction-free and better develop social skills. The new policy was passed in the state budget. There are exemptions to the policy for students who need access to their phones for medical reasons. The policy also requires schools give parents a way to connect and contact their kids during the day. Well, it's a food frenzy in the Big Apple today. New York City City Restaurant Week kicks off. Discounted deals will be served up at hundreds of restaurants across all 5 boroughs, featuring 2-course lunches and 3-course dinners for a fixed price of $30, $45, or even $60. The Restaurant Week tradition started back in 1992 and has become a staple in the city ever since. The summer's program runs through August 17th. We do remind you that not all businesses participate for the full event. And speaking of chowing down, 22 men and women took part in the 2nd annual rotisserie chicken eating contest in Brooklyn yesterday. This event is sponsored by the viral TikTok account Old Jewish Men of New York. The winner, Robert McGee from Far Rockaway, Queens, he ate a whole bagged Costco chicken in 6 minutes and 44 seconds. For his effort, Robert won a trophy, $500 on a hot pizza pie from Roma Pizza, which he also apparently ate right after. No word of any Tums or some antacid medicines there. Anyway, all right, so regardless of the temperature outside, it's almost always hotter underground, especially with the recent heat and humidity. But there's one man on a mission to show us how hot it really feels in the city's subway system. Fox 5's Richard Giacobas went underground with this TikTok sensation.
Finally, after weeks of high heat, the summer swelter on this night has let up. But underground, the heat miser is still holding court.
And heat index is what we're focusing on because that's the feels like temperature.
Meet Jack Klein, a self-proclaimed temperature taker and strap hanger who brings his own device underground to measure what it feels like in the nation's largest transit system. Jack runs a New York Lab, a nonprofit that works to highlight environmental stressors within New York's public infrastructure.
And notice how the humidity outside was 42%, and right when I walk down the stairs, it rises to almost 50%. It's just gonna become more dangerous. It's a public health issue, really. That's how I'm framing it.
With his own sensor that measures heat and humidity, Klein visits subway platforms across the city and has started a whole temperature trend on TikTok that's racked up thousands of views.
So here it's about 94 degrees heat index.
One of Jack's highest readings recently at the 14th Street Union Square station. The heat index was nearly 130 degrees. At the Times Square 42nd Street station on a normal summer day, the 1, 2, and 3 Uptown platform's heat index is reading 97.
They need better ventilation down here to get the air out.
I think they should provide fans down here.
As you can tell by my shirt, it's pretty hot down here. And in response to Jack's experiment, the MTA points us towards its climate resiliency roadmap, listing the 3 sources of heat which make conditions unbearable underground. The MTA blames their communications equipment, train brakes, and the AC units in their subway cars. All that heat has to go somewhere, and most of it is coming right here to the platform.
You can feel it when a train pulls in. It's just like blasting you in the face with hot air.
While mostly in newer subway stations, the Transit Authority says it has installed new cooling and circulation systems and portable AC units to help strap hangers beat the heat. For Jack, he says he hopes the MTA gets more funding to at least bring the temperature down to a simmer and provide some relief. In Times Square, Richard Giacobas, Fox 5 News.
We're going to have to get Richard a towel there. All right, everybody, that's your news block for now. I'm Antoine Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. Tune into the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on the Fox local app for all of the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Stay safe.